Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I'll tell you what, when it comes to your business, you need to be really aware about the organizations that are out there that are looking out for the interests of your companies. And there's one out there called the Texas Association of Business. And we're going to spend a little bit of time talking specifically about that organization and what it does for its members. But I'm also wanting to spend a little time talking to the president of it about what they're doing and what they're hearing from their members when it comes to the pressing issue of healthcare reform. And I use that term reform very loosely. And someone who's going to be joining me as we're going to be doing several segments in the weeks to come, looking at how businesses are dealing with healthcare reform, is my friend Todd Randolph. And Todd is an insurance expert and with one of the leading firms out there. And Todd, before we get to our guests today, why don't you tell us a little bit about your company?
Good morning, Kevin. Thank you for having me. And USI, we are one of the largest privately held firms in the country today. We are an insurance services advisory firm. We focus on a lot of different areas, whether it's property and casualty, employee benefits, 401k, retirement. My specific focus, as you've mentioned, is in the employee benefits arena. And it's my job to assist clients, whether it's with healthcare reform, wellness, and just overall brokerage services and helping them control their costs.
Awesome. Thanks for being with us. We're looking forward to that because we know I get lots of emails. I get lots of people who are saying, what do we do about healthcare reform? And so we're excited about doing this work. But we're also excited about learning more about the Texas Association of Business and glad to have Bill Hammond on the program. We've been working hard to get you on the show. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
First of all, let's start with kind of an overview of yourself, your career, and what led you to becoming the leader of the Texas Association of Business.
Sure. For many years, I was a small business owner in Dallas, Texas. In the 1980s, I served in the Texas House as a state representative. And then in 1995, then Governor Bush appointed me to be the employer representative and chairman of the Texas Workforce Commission. And in 1998, I became the president of the Texas Association of Business.
Very, very good. And how long has that been?
That's been since 98, 15 years.
Oh, awesome. Very good, very good. And I know that Todd has a question for you.
Exactly, if you could describe what the TAB does for businesses in Texas.
Sure. Our mission is to create the best business climate on the planet, so that when businesses make a decision about where to expand or relocate, the answer will be Texas. And what we do is we represent the interests of all employers of the state before the legislature, state agencies, and the Congress. We advocate aggressively on behalf of those employers to, like I said, to create the best business climate so that they can thrive and be successful.
Are you working at bringing businesses from other parts of the country to Texas? And if so, what are you doing in that respect?
Well, basically, we're not about economic development. We are about building a business climate that will promote businesses coming to Texas, but we don't specifically do economic development.
Okay. And kind of give us an overview of your membership. How many members do you have?
We have 4,000 corporations and 200 chambers of commerce. 80% of our members have 50 or fewer employees. We represent from the smallest edge welding shop all the way up to the Fortunate 100.
Yeah, very good. Go ahead, Todd.
And a comment on it. I think you are doing a good job of getting businesses to Houston based on the traffic. But what is, from your perspective and from what you're hearing from your members, what is healthcare reform, Obamacare? How's that impacting your employers today?
Well, Obamacare is a complete disaster. It's the biggest detriment to job creation that we're facing in America today. Mm-hmm. Employers are uncertain other than they know that the impact is going to be negative on their businesses. The vast majority of employers want to provide some level of health insurance for their employees and pay for a good portion of it. But as the premiums escalate, largely driven by Obamacare, their ability to do that is going to be greatly diminished. And what you're seeing is businesses going from hiring people on a full-time basis to a part-time basis so that they can avoid these draconian penalties that are associated with Obamacare.
Yeah, I think Barack Obama, by the end of this term, could be the biggest job creator of any president in U.S. history. Unfortunately, every one of them will be part-time jobs, and we'll see untold numbers of full-time jobs disappear.
Right. I mean, I haven't seen the details on this morning's report, but I know most of the jobs that have been created this year in America have been, in fact, part-time jobs.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That doesn't work for the employers. It doesn't work for the employees either one of them. People want full-time regular jobs. But if you have if you're not meeting the standards of Obamacare, you're facing a $3,000 per year fine for everyone you hire on a full-time basis.
Yeah.
So the economics are disastrous. This is causing people to be hired on a part-time basis. The unions who work to support this legislation have now figured out it's a complete disaster for their guys.
Yeah. It's amazing how these special interest groups, they follow what they always follow without reading the fine print. I think, for example, the African-American population with amnesty, the African-American population is the most hard hit by unemployment, yet they are supporting a party that is bringing so many more people to compete against the jobs that they have. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm for reform. I'm for immigration, but it's got to be done in a sensible sort of way, not in the way that I'm hearing advocated from the powers that be.
Yes, I mean, obviously it's a problem that needs to be solved, but we need to do it in a way that benefits everyone. I mean, there are jobs that are unfilled, especially at the high end of the scale. One of the things we think we do that's pretty foolish is we allow people to come from other countries, get a PhD or a master's degree in engineering or math, and then tell them they have to go home when we've got jobs waiting for them here. We think we ought to figure out a way to let them stay and work in America and create more jobs. Yeah,
and recoup some of our investment. Todd, you have a question?
Right.
I'm curious. What you hear from your membership is, when it comes to healthcare reform and rising costs, what other areas are these employers looking at tackling to control those costs? Do they look at wellness initiatives and other reform initiatives to help their employees?
I mean, they're looking at wellness. They're looking at of course, the ability to do the health savings accounts is, again, that's something else that's being limited. High deductible policies, which make a lot of sense for both the employers and the employees, are having to be eliminated by Obamacare. Mm-hmm. I mean, the programs that were gaining steam where the consumer, the employee, has more skin in the game and is making decisions based on the cost of doing things, is being eliminated. Mm-hmm. Because under the new laws, those types of policies are no longer viable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And really the reality is that the only thing that works is if there's a consumer attitude about health care. When so-called consumer-driven health, you detach the consumer from the consequences of their behavior. The more you do that, the less efficient they're going to be in their behavior. I mean, that's just common sense.
It's absolutely the case. I mean, the government's action during World War II in terms of price controls put us in a position where people were getting their health insurance at their place of employment, and that's probably one of the worst things that ever happened to us. The third-party payer with no involvement by the individual says, I don't care what it costs because it doesn't affect me. Yeah, that's why we're in the mess we're in.
Great conversation, Bill. I hope I can get you back on again.
Absolutely. Anytime, call me, and I appreciate the chance.
Bill Hammond is with a great organization called the Texas Association of Business. That's txbiz.org if you want to learn more about them. Todd Randolph, my go-to guy when it comes to understanding what's happening out there in health care, particularly for companies out there. His website, usi.com. Thanks to both of you. Actually, the best one, what's the best website for you?
usi.biz, B-I-Z.
.biz. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And thanks to both of you gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Bill.
Bye.
All right, when we come back, much more for you. I want to remind you to check us out at usdailyreview.com.